Well, Steve Arts 89. Well, we've had some interesting things happen with the mushroom case. There was a suppression order was lifted. Now, I, like most people, was interested in this case when it first happened. There was a bunch of reporting, and we knew things. Like, we knew that this woman had attempted to kill her husband, allegedly, on at least three occasions, and he'd gone to the hospital with really serious symptoms. He was in hospital for a week one time. He was in a coma, induced coma for 16 days. He had several, I think 3 operations, and they had part of his bowel removed and everything. So she had attempted to kill him through poisoning, supposedly rat poison and antifreeze, which I thought was an American thing. But apparently we kill people with antifreeze in Australia as well. I guess it's the same product. And we knew this. And I talked about this in my videos, but when this went to court, the court said, which is quite unusual, the media, basically, they said the media can't talk about some of these things, and they were going to do like a big court case, and they were going to have her up for the attempted murder of the husband, as well as the survivor of the mushroom lunch, and the actual people she killed and murder for them. But for some reason, they backed out of that, and because the judge seemed to think it was something to do with the appeals, and they didn't want this information out there, so they basically banned the media from talking about this. Now, it had already been talked about, so it was known, but I don't think the wider public knew. It was more like just people who were sort of interested in this sort of stuff, true crime and that, and YouTubers, people like me, who knew all about this. And the funny thing was, I didn't realise this had happened, because the media took the court to court to say they should be able to speak about this, and they basically were told no. This suppression order was upheld, and the media wasn't allowed to talk about it. So it's weird, because like I didn't notice, because when you know stuff and if people don't talk about it, because you know it, you don't notice it's missing. So I wasn't paying that close attention to this, so I just thought I'd missed the days they talked about the other murder attempts and stuff like that. Well, no, they were just excluded. Now, they were mentioned, but the judge actually told them to ignore it. Oh, you may hear about accusations of attempted murder, but just ignore that. So this is another example of them being told how to think and how to judge the case. Because, my God, it just blows my mind, the idea that they wouldn't allow even the mention of these other murder attempts or alleged murder attempts, because reasonable doubt, if someone poisons a group of people, is it an accident? How do they prove it? There might be a reasonable doubt that this was an accident. Maybe one time, but when it happens 3-4 times, that's a pattern of a psycho who God, she tried to poison her husband allegedly 3 times. With, what was there? There was a chicken wrap. No, it was a vegetable wrap, a chicken curry meal, and penne bolognese. And she also made him some biscuits, which he didn't eat. And he thought of taking them to have them tested. And the worst thing about this was he told people about this. He told, I think his cousin, his cousin Tim Patterson. He was Simon Patterson. I got the names of them confused. So this guy knew about this. This is also why when the relatives were in hospital, they immediately started testing for the correct things, because they already knew what this was. Other people had been informed. So there was talk, but they weren't allowed to mention any of this in the court case. And what really disgusts me is that when Simon got up on the stand, he had to lie, because he couldn't say the truth. When they said, "Oh, why didn't you go to this dinner?" He couldn't say, "Because I feared for my life, because I believe my wife attempted to poison me on 3 other occasions." He couldn't say that. He had to say, "Oh, he felt uncomfortable." That just disgusts me, the fact that they forced him to lie, that he couldn't. Just the idea they wouldn't include these allegations, these past incidents. How is it not relevant? Someone's being accused of poisoning a group of people deliberately, and they're saying, "Oh, it's not relevant that this person attempted to kill another person in their family on 3 other occasions in the 2 years leading up to this." and just other things. Like there was also proof that she had gone to the tip on other occasions, like on the day of the the meal, and just a whole bunch of other things, a bunch of things that were suppressed. And I mean, these things shouldn't have been. It's just really disturbing. Like that main thing that these other attempts. And I mean, it's just so obvious that she did it, and just like the fact that they never found her phone. They shouldn't have to find it. She should be willing to hand it over. If you're innocent, you're going to give them your phone, your computer, whatever. But there were so many things on there. Like, and there was also the craziest thing was the fake cat call. She called up and said, "Oh, my cat's eaten this mushroom," and was asking for symptoms and information on poisoning, basically, with this fake cat. She never had a cat. She made it up. And all that, just, it's so frustrating that, that, you know, like this suppression order was put, and it is unusual. It was something that the media did challenge, because, yeah, it's just, yeah, so... Well, at least the public knows now, and like it's funny to realise that the public didn't know everything that we knew, because there was a point where the media had to stop talking about things. So if you hadn't been paying attention to the case and you'd missed it, you weren't going to know. And all this because, in theory, if she lost and might want to appeal, the judge thought that somehow it would be prejudicial or something for the other elements of the case to be explored. I mean, I just don't understand. It's as bizarre and offensive as when the Menendez brothers sort of won the first case with a hung jury, and they put them to trial again, but said, "But you can't use the defence you did last time." So they lost, obviously, because they couldn't use the defence they used before. They couldn't use, yeah. So this the way the court manipulates things. And you can see all these sort of rules are made up for rich people and companies, but occasionally people with money, or if there's a government like run where someone's going for office or something, and they need the case to go the wrong way for a reason, like that, things will be. You can just see how easily the court system manipulates things and twists things their way. And for some reason, they were on Erin's side. They didn't win. They still found her guilty, even with so much evidence withheld and so many things withheld that should have been just. I mean, they would have been out of that room in 10 minutes had they known that, you know, this is the fourth attempt at killing members of her family, just because she wasn't happy with the relationship that the family. Because people say, why did she do this to them? Because they didn't side with her. They told her to basically go and pray. That they wouldn't intervene. They weren't on her side, and they weren't going to get involved, and just told her to go pray. And that was the end of them. Part of me doesn't blame her though, because imagine that. Imagine your family just ignores the fact that their son is, you know, not taking care of the children, not paying, or whatever she was claiming, assuming that was true. Because she was rich. I'm like, why is she on government payments again? She literally was a millionaire. She got millions in property and stuff in some wills and that when a relative died and everything. So she had money. Like, why was she even upset that he wasn't paying as much as she thought she should pay? And that was their whole issue, that the finances came into it. So she was just greedy. And then when the family didn't support her, she was like, "Well, how dare you? I'm going to kill you." That's why, because she wanted to. Because how dare they? In her warped little world, they should have been on her side and, you know, thrown their son under the bus for not, you know, paying her whatever she thought they should pay, even though she owned her own properties and had all this money and everything. So yeah, the whole thing is just, as you can see, I need to talk about it. I need some YouTube therapy, some venting, because I can't believe this suppression order was proposed and withheld, and for all those months, all those reporters had to just bite their tongues and not mention all these things they knew, and they all knew how obvious it was that she committed the murders, and that it'd be a travesty if she got away because this information was withheld, and it just makes the legal system look like a joke. Yeah, I've been talking for 10 minutes. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of all of this, and feel free to ding the bell and go to the channel, because you probably won't see my videos because YouTube doesn't support small content creators like myself. So I probably won't come up in your feed. So you might have to look. But yep, I'm going to go. I'm guessing this is the last surprise coming from this case now, but I really was surprised by this because I didn't realise it was a thing.